What if the president's limo doors weigh as much as a Boeing 757s? Or that Secret Service agents carry bags of the president's blood wherever they travel? From underground bunkers built during World War II to food tasters sampling meals abroad, presidential protection involves bizarre protocols most Americans never imagine. The lengths taken to keep the commander-in-chief safe are extraordinary, expensive, and sometimes downright strange. Here are 15 weird facts you didn't know about how the president is protected. Fact 1. Lincoln created the Secret Service the day he was assassinated. On April 14, 1865, President Abraham Lincoln spent his final day alive signing legislation and attending to official business, and among the documents that crossed his desk was a bill creating the United States Secret Service. Just hours after he authorized this new federal agency, Lincoln left the White House for Ford's Theater to watch a performance of Pierre Denondeau, where John Wilkes Booth would shoot him in the back of the head at approximately 10:15 that evening. The tragic irony of this timing has become one of history's most haunting coincidences. But what makes it even stranger is that the Secret Service couldn't have saved Lincoln even if it had been fully operational that night. The agency wasn't created to protect presidents at all, but rather to combat the massive counterfeiting problem that threatened to destroy the American economy. By the end of the Civil War, experts estimated that somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of all currency circulating in the United States was counterfeit, with some estimates suggesting the problem was even worse in certain regions. The federal government desperately needed a specialized law enforcement agency to investigate and arrest counterfeiters who were undermining the nation's financial system. Lincoln recognized this crisis and approved the creation of the Secret Service as a branch of the Treasury Department specifically to hunt down fake money operations. It would take another 36 years and the assassinations of 2 more presidents, James Garfield in 1881 and William McKinley in 1901, before Congress finally assigned the Secret Service its now famous role of protecting the president, a responsibility that has defined the agency ever since. Fact 2. The presidential limo doors weigh as much as a Boeing 757s. The presidential limousine, nicknamed the Beast by Secret Service agents, is unlike any other vehicle on Earth, and one of its most extraordinary features is hidden in plain sight every time the president steps out onto a red carpet. Each of the vehicle's doors weighs as much as the cabin door on a Boeing 757 commercial airliner, a staggering amount of weight that reflects the incredible level of armor protection built into every square inch of this rolling fortress. The doors contain approximately 8 inches of solid armor plating designed to stop armor-piercing rounds, grenade blasts, and even direct strikes from rocket-propelled grenades. This extreme reinforcement means that opening and closing the doors requires significant force, and Secret Service agents must be specifically trained on the proper technique to avoid injury. The entire vehicle weighs somewhere between 15,000 and 20,000 pounds, roughly the same as a fully loaded garbage truck, which is nearly 3 times heavier than a standard luxury sedan. The Beast sits on a heavy-duty truck chassis similar to those used for commercial vehicles, because a normal car frame would collapse under the tremendous weight. The armor plating extends beyond the doors to cover the entire body, the floor, the roof, and even the fuel tank, which is wrapped in special foam that prevents it from exploding if punctured. The windows are made of multiple layers of glass and polycarbonate that are strong enough to withstand gunfire, but so thick that they only roll down approximately 3 inches. Despite weighing as much as a small elephant, the Beast can still accelerate quickly in emergencies and features run-flat tires with steel rims that allow the driver to escape even after all 4 tires have been destroyed. Fact 3. Secret Service carries the president's blood type. Every time the president travels, whether across town or across the world, Secret Service agents carry a supply of blood that matches the commander-in-chief's exact blood type. ensuring that emergency medical treatment can begin within seconds of an injury. This blood travels in the presidential motorcade inside specialized medical vehicles and is also stored aboard Air Force One, Marine One, and any other aircraft or helicopter the president uses. The Secret Service operates under a strict protocol that the president must never be more than 10 minutes away from a trauma center, and agents are extensively trained in what they call, quote, two, a set of emergency procedures designed to keep a critically injured president alive long enough to reach a hospital. This training goes far beyond basic first aid and includes skills like establishing airways, controlling massive bleeding, treating gunshot wounds, and even performing emergency procedures that would normally require a doctor. The motorcade always includes at least one vehicle, designated as the emergency medical vehicle, staffed by a doctor and a physician's assistant who carry not just blood but also advanced medical equipment, including defibrillators, ventilators, and surgical supplies. When President Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981 outside the Washington Hilton Hotel, he lost nearly half his blood volume before reaching the hospital. And this near-death experience led to significant improvements in the Secret Service's medical protocols. The blood supply is carefully monitored and regularly replaced to ensure it remains fresh and usable, and the exact blood type of the president is classified information, though medical teams aboard Air Force One are prepared with multiple blood types in case of mass casualty events involving staff or crew members. Fact 4. Presidents can never drive on public roads. Again, once someone becomes President of the United States, they permanently lose the privilege that most Americans take for granted, the ability to drive a car on public roads, and this restriction continues for the rest of their lives, even after they leave office. The ban isn't written in any law or constitutional amendment, but is instead a strict Secret Service protocol that began after President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, when agents realized that presidents behind the wheel of their own vehicles created unacceptable security risks. Former presidents have openly discussed how much they miss driving, with George W. Bush famously telling Jay Leno that he hadn't driven on a street or highway in decades and couldn't even remember what it felt like. Barack Obama mentioned during his presidency that he was looking forward to getting behind the wheel again someday, though he acknowledged he'd probably forgotten how to drive after 8 years away from it. Bill Clinton admitted he hadn't driven a car since 1993 and joked that the world had probably changed so much he wouldn't know where to go or how to use new technology in vehicles. The Secret Service reasoning behind this ban is straightforward. A president or former president driving their own car could be easily followed, trapped in traffic, blocked at an intersection, or forced off the road by attackers, and the close protection that agents provide becomes nearly impossible when the protectee is in control of the vehicle. However, former presidents are allowed to drive on private property, and many take advantage of this exception by driving golf carts, ATVs, and trucks around their personal ranches or estates, giving them at least a small taste of the freedom they once enjoyed. Fact 5. Air Force One can withstand a nuclear blast. Air Force One isn't just a luxury aircraft for presidential travel, but is actually a flying command center built to survive scenarios that would destroy virtually any other plane in the sky, including electromagnetic pulses from nuclear explosions. The aircraft is hardened against EMP attacks through specialized shielding that protects all electronic systems from the massive electromagnetic surge that occurs when a nuclear weapon detonates, which would instantly disable the electronics in normal aircraft and send them plummeting from the sky. The plane's defenses don't stop there. It carries advanced countermeasures, including flares that burn at extremely high temperatures to draw heat-seeking missiles away from the engines, as well as chaff systems that release clouds of metal strips to confuse radar-guided missiles. Air Force One features encrypted communication systems that allow the president to maintain contact with military commanders and world leaders, even during a nuclear war, and the aircraft can be refueled in mid-air, allowing it to stay airborne indefinitely as long as the crew can physically handle extended flight operations. The medical capabilities aboard Air Force One rival those of many hospitals, with a full surgical suite located in the lower deck that includes an operating table, emergency medical equipment, and a supply of medications that can treat virtually any condition. A doctor is permanently assigned to Air Force One and flies on every presidential trip, accompanied by a physician's assistant and emergency medical technicians. The aircraft also carries its own blood supply, surgical instruments, and even a pharmacy. The plane's interior is divided into separate sections, including a presidential suite with a bedroom and bathroom, a conference room that serves as a situation room during emergencies, staff areas, and press accommodations, all of which can be sealed off from each other if a security breach occurs. Fact 6. The president is never truly alone. The life of a president means accepting that privacy is no longer an option because Secret Service agents accompany the commander-in-chief everywhere, including places most people would consider sacred personal space like bathrooms and doctor's offices. This level of constant protection has led to some awkward and sometimes humorous situations throughout presidential history. During Ronald Reagan's presidency, a Secret Service agent attended his prostate examination because agents cannot allow the president to be alone even during intimate medical procedures, and the agent had to stand in the room while the doctor performed the exam. President Jimmy Carter once triggered a panic response throughout the White House when he accidentally pressed what he thought was a toilet flusher, but was actually an emergency alert button installed in the bathroom, causing armed agents to come rushing in with weapons drawn, thinking the president was under attack. Secret Service agents position themselves directly outside bathroom doors and sometimes inside large restrooms at public venues, and they accompany the president into changing rooms, doctor's offices, and any other private spaces. The reasoning behind this policy is simple. Assassins don't respect privacy, and any moment the president spends without protection is a potential vulnerability that could be exploited. Presidents have complained about this lack of privacy throughout history, with Harry Truman famously comparing his Secret Service detail to living in a fishbowl. But the policy remains unchanged. Even when presidents swim in private pools, agents watch from poolside, and when they sleep at night, agents stand guard outside their bedroom doors and monitor security cameras positioned throughout the residence. Medical appointments require advanced security sweeps of the facility, and doctors who treat the president must receive security clearances before they're allowed to provide care, ensuring that even moments of illness or vulnerability are carefully protected. Fact 7. There's a secret bunker beneath the White House. Deep beneath the east wing of the White House sits one of the most secure locations in America, the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, known by its acronym PEOC, which was constructed during the World War II when the government feared German bombers might attack Washington, D.C. This underground bunker features walls reinforced with steel and concrete thick enough to withstand direct bomb hits, and its entrance is protected by massive airtight doors designed to seal out chemical, biological, and radioactive contamination. The facility gained widespread attention on September 11, 2001, when Vice President Dick Cheney was rushed into the PEOC as the terrorist attacks unfolded, and he remained there throughout the day coordinating the government's response, while President Bush was aboard Air Force One. The bunker contains secure communication equipment that allows the president to maintain contact with military commanders and world leaders during any crisis. And it's equipped with its own air filtration systems, power generators, and supplies that would allow occupants to survive for extended periods without leaving. A network of underground tunnels connects the PEOC to other secure facilities, including the Treasury building next door, allowing for emergency evacuations without exposing the president to outside threats. The exact depth of the bunker remains classified, but reports suggest it sits several stories below ground level, possibly as deep as 5 floors down. During the Cold War, the facility was regularly tested and updated to ensure it could protect against nuclear attacks, though experts debate whether any bunker beneath the White House could truly survive a direct strike from a modern nuclear weapon. The bunker has been used during numerous emergencies beyond 9/11, including during threats of domestic terrorism, international crises, and severe weather events, serving as a constant reminder that the presidency exists under the shadow of potential catastrophe. Fact 8. Presidents get their own secret code. Names. Every president and their immediate family members receive secret code names assigned by the White House Communications Agency, creating a tradition that dates back to the early days of electronic communications when security officials worried that enemies might intercept radio transmissions. The system follows a specific rule. All code names for members of the same family must begin with the same letter, which is randomly selected when a new president takes office. Barack Obama's code name was Renegade, while Michelle Obama was Renaissance, and their daughters were Radiance and Rosebud. Donald Trump received the code name Mogul, which seemed fitting for a real estate developer, while Melania was Muse. Joe Biden's code name is Arquotanine, a reference to his Irish heritage, and Jill Biden is Ch10. Sometimes the code names carry a touch of historical irony, like when Richard Nixon was assigned Ch11. During his presidency, a name that took on darkly comic undertones during the Watergate scandal when investigators were quite literally searching for light on his administration's activities. Ronald Reagan was Rawhide, which suited his Western movie persona, while George H.W. Bush was Timberwolf. Bill Clinton's code name, Ch14, seemed appropriately presidential, though his wife Hillary's code name, Evergreen, has persisted through her various roles as First Lady, Senator, Secretary of State, and presidential candidate. George W. Bush was called Trailblazer, while his wife Laura was Tempo. The Secret Service updates and maintains these code names throughout a president's life, and former presidents retain their code names indefinitely, using them during any events where Secret Service protection is provided. While these names were originally classified, most have become public knowledge over the years through news reports and memoirs, though the Secret Service still uses them in radio communications to quickly identify protectees without broadcasting their actual names over potentially unsecured channels. Fact 9. Food tasters really exist for the president. While there's no official job title of presidential food taster on the White House staff roster, Navy mess specialists who travel with the president on overseas trips routinely taste meals before they're served to the commander-in-chief, continuing an ancient practice that dates back to Roman emperors and medieval kings who feared poisoning. When President Barack Obama dined at a small Parisian bistro during a visit to France, restaurant staff confirmed afterward that his meal had been tasted by security personnel before it reached his table, though they described the process as being handled discreetly and professionally. The system works differently depending on whether the president is eating at the White House, where a trusted kitchen staff prepares meals under strict security protocols, or traveling abroad where foreign cooks and unknown ingredients present potential risks. During international trips, Navy culinary specialists accompany the presidential party and work alongside local chefs, carefully monitoring food preparation and sampling dishes before they're served. The tasters don't just take small bites, but consume full portions of each dish, and they wait a specific period afterward to ensure no delayed-acting poisons or toxins are present in the food. This precaution might seem paranoid, but history has shown that food poisoning, whether accidental or intentional, poses a real threat to world leaders. In some cases, the presidential traveling party brings their own food supplies, including sealed packages of ingredients, bottled water, and even complete meals that are prepared by American military chefs and served to the president without any local involvement. The Secret Service also conducts background checks on chefs and kitchen staff who will prepare presidential meals, and they inspect kitchen facilities before the president arrives to ensure there are no opportunities for contamination. Despite all these precautions, presidents still occasionally suffer from food-related illnesses, with George H.W. Bush famously vomiting on the Japanese Prime Minister during a state dinner in 1992, an incident caused by stomach flu rather than poisoning. Fact 10. Counter-snipers are always on the White House roof. If you look carefully at the White House roofline during presidential events, you might notice the silhouettes of Secret Service counter-sniper team members maintaining watch from elevated positions, a highly trained unit that has protected the Executive Mansion 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since 1971. These elite marksmen belong to one of the most specialized units within the Secret Service, and they must demonstrate extraordinary shooting skills that far exceed those of typical law enforcement snipers. Counter-sniper team members are required to qualify monthly by hitting targets at distances exceeding 3,000 feet, which is more than half a mile away and represents shooting accuracy that few people in the world can achieve. The team uses high-powered rifles equipped with advanced optics that can identify threats at extreme distances. And they maintain observation posts not just on the White House roof, but also on nearby buildings and at temporary positions during presidential travel. During outdoor events on the White House grounds or when the president appears at public venues, multiple counter-sniper teams deploy to create overlapping fields of fire that ensure no angle remains unprotected. The snipers communicate constantly with other Secret Service agents through encrypted radio systems, providing real-time intelligence about potential threats they observe from their elevated vantage points. Despite their decades of vigilance and their impressive capabilities, the counter-sniper team has never had to fire their weapons at an actual threat to the president, a testament both to the deterrent effect of visible security and to the effectiveness of other protective measures. However, they remain constantly ready, and their rules of engagement authorize them to take lethal action immediately if they identify someone aiming a weapon at the president. The psychological pressure of this job is immense, knowing that a single mistake or moment of inattention could result in the assassination of the president, and team members undergo regular psychological evaluations to ensure they can handle the stress of their responsibilities. Fact 11. The Beast gets its own airplane. The presidential limousine doesn't simply drive to wherever the president is traveling. It flies ahead on a C-17 Globemaster cargo plane, and it never travels alone because at least 2 identical versions of the Beast accompany every presidential trip to maintain an elaborate shell game that protects the president's location. These duplicate limousines are perfect copies down to their license plate numbers, and during motorcades, they travel in formation so that potential attackers cannot determine which vehicle actually contains the president. The Secret Service loads the Beast and its duplicates onto the massive cargo plane days before presidential trips, and the vehicles are transported to the destination city where they await the president's arrival on Air Force One. The logistics of moving these vehicles are staggering, with each beast weighing up to 20,000 pounds and requiring specialized loading equipment to roll them onto the cargo plane without damaging the aircraft. Beyond the limousines themselves, the C-17 also carries the entire presidential motorcade, including Secret Service vehicles, communication trucks, and the ambulance that follows behind the president at all times. After approximately 8 years of service, the Beast is taken out of rotation and completely destroyed to protect the classified construction secrets built into its armor, weapons detection systems, and defensive capabilities. The Secret Service refuses to allow these vehicles to fall into anyone else's hands, even allies or museums, because the detailed knowledge of how they're built could help future attackers identify vulnerabilities. New versions of the Beast are commissioned for each incoming president, though the vehicles often serve through multiple administrations depending on timing. The current generation of presidential limousines reportedly cost more than $1.5 million each, though the exact price remains classified, and General Motors built them to Secret Service specifications that have never been publicly released. Fact 12. Presidents travel with an elevator repairman. When the president stays at a hotel during domestic or international travel, the Secret Service advance team brings their own elevator repairman who remains on standby throughout the visit in case the president gets stuck between floors, a precaution that might seem excessive until you consider the unique security nightmare that a trapped president would create. If a president were to become stuck in an elevator at a foreign hotel, the Secret Service couldn't simply wait for local maintenance workers to arrive, because those workers might not have proper security clearances, could be working for hostile intelligence agencies, or might inadvertently create vulnerabilities during the rescue operation. The dedicated elevator technician is one of many specialists who travel with the presidential party, joining a mobile support network that includes doctors, communications experts, military personnel, and security personnel who together ensure the president can function safely in any environment. The Secret Service also films the president constantly during trips using video cameras operated by agents and staff members, creating a continuous record of the president's movements and surroundings. This video footage serves multiple purposes. It can be reviewed immediately if an attack or security incident occurs to help investigators understand what happened, and it provides evidence that could be crucial in any subsequent investigation. The cameras capture everyone who approaches the president, every location visited, and every interaction that occurs, creating an archive that is carefully stored and maintained. This level of documentation might feel intrusive, but it's considered essential for both security and historical record-keeping. The Secret Service has learned from past assassination attempts that having clear video evidence can make the difference between understanding what happened and being left with unanswered questions. And in the case of President Reagan's shooting, cameras captured the attack and helped identify the shooter and reconstruct the sequence of events. Fact 13. The White House has a secret dental office underground beneath the north portico of the White House. In the basement level that most visitors never see sits a fully equipped dental office that can provide everything from routine cleanings to emergency procedures, ensuring that the president never has to leave the secure confines of the executive mansion for dental care. This underground facility gained public attention in January of 2023 when President Joe Biden received a root canal there after complaining of tooth pain, and White House officials confirmed that the procedure was performed in the building's dental suite rather than at an outside facility. The dental office contains X-ray equipment, dental chairs, and all the instruments and medications needed to perform complex procedures, and it's staffed by military dental personnel who maintain the highest security clearances. Having an on-site dental office solves several security problems that would arise if the president needed to visit a dentist in the city. The Secret Service would have to conduct advanced security sweeps of the dental office, shut down surrounding streets, and transport the president through potentially hostile areas, all for a medical appointment that could be handled more safely and efficiently within the White House itself. The White House Medical Unit, which occupies space on the ground floor and in the basement, also includes examination rooms, pharmacy facilities, and emergency medical equipment, essentially functioning as a small private clinic dedicated exclusively to caring for the president, vice president, their families, and essential White House staff. The military doctors and nurses who work in the White House Medical Unit are among the most highly trained in their fields, and they receive specialized training in treating high-level government officials under the unique pressures and security constraints that come with their roles. This in-house medical capability extends beyond dental care to include routine physical exams, laboratory testing, and treatment of minor illnesses. Fact 14. George W. Bush used a special toilet abroad. During a 2007 trip to Austria for meetings with European leaders, President George W. Bush used a specially designed portable toilet that the Secret Service installed in his hotel suite to prevent foreign intelligence agencies from collecting his waste for health analysis. A bizarre but legitimate security concern that earned the nickname ToilSec, which stands for Toilet Security. Intelligence agencies around the world have long recognized that analyzing a world leader's urine and feces can reveal valuable information about their health, including evidence of diseases, medications, drug use, stress levels, and dietary patterns that might indicate physical or mental vulnerabilities. A foreign government that obtained the president's waste could send it to laboratories for sophisticated testing that might expose health conditions the White House had been keeping secret or reveal medications that could suggest underlying illnesses. The Secret Service takes this threat seriously enough that they deploy specialized sanitation procedures during overseas trips. And in some cases, they install equipment that contains and secures all biological waste produced by the president. The Austrian incident wasn't the first time such measures were taken. Reports suggest that presidential waste has been carefully controlled during many foreign trips throughout recent history. Some security experts have confirmed that presidential bathrooms in foreign hotels are sometimes modified with special plumbing that redirects waste into secure containers rather than allowing it to enter the local sewer system where it could be intercepted. The technology involved in ToilSec operations remains classified, but it likely includes portable systems that can be quickly installed and removed without leaving evidence of their presence. This level of security might seem paranoid, but history shows that intelligence agencies use every possible method to gather information about their adversaries, and a president's biological waste represents a relatively easy target for collection if proper precautions aren't taken. Fact 15. The Secret Service started as Treasury's counterfeit fighters. The United States Secret Service wasn't created to protect presidents and didn't take on that famous responsibility until 36 years after the agency's founding, when Congress finally assigned it protective duties following a tragic series of presidential assassinations. When the Secret Service was established in 1865, its sole mission was to investigate and arrest counterfeiters who were flooding the American economy with fake currency that threatened to destroy public confidence in paper money. The scale of the counterfeiting problem at the end of the Civil War was almost unimaginable by today's standards, with experts estimating that between 1/3 and 1/2 of all currency in circulation was counterfeit. And in some regions and for certain denominations, the percentage may have been even higher. The federal government had no specialized law enforcement agency capable of addressing this crisis, and local police departments lacked the resources, expertise, and jurisdiction to investigate sophisticated counterfeiting operations that often crossed state lines. The Secret Service was created as a division of the Treasury Department, where it remained until it was transferred to the Department of Homeland Security in 2003. The agency's first agents were hired in July of 1865, just months after President Lincoln's assassination, and they immediately began infiltrating counterfeiting rings, tracking down printing operations, and arresting the criminals who were undermining the nation's financial system. The campaign was remarkably successful, and within a few years, the Secret Service had dramatically reduced the amount of fake currency in circulation. It wasn't until President William McKinley was assassinated in 1901, becoming the third president killed in office after Lincoln and James Garfield, that Congress finally decided the president needed dedicated protection and assigned that responsibility to the Secret Service, which has protected every president since. Every president since. Every president since. Every president since.